Good afternoon, Abhay sir, and thank you so very much for
Good afternoon.
thank you so very much for joining me this conversation, sir. Thank you.
No, equally, it's a good afternoon for you also, and both of us.
Very true, sir. Very true.
Mhm.
Sir, I would like to first know how was Abhay sir as a child?
See, basically, I was born in East Africa. I was not born in India, but I was born to a Gandhian father
Mhm.
and RSS family daughter. That is my mother.
Right.
So I am a blend of Congress and RSS both, in a sense. Not Congress, basically. It is Gandhian and RSS thought I am a blend of both.
Right.
And as my father was transparent,
Mm-hmm.
he was more Gandhian than Gandhi himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a kindergarten teacher.
Right.
My mother was also a kindergarten teacher.
Right.
And my father was loved like anything by his children, by his parents,
Mm-hmm.
and the employers also.
Right.
Being absolutely a transparent man in his whole life.
Mm-hmm.
I can guarantee you that he has never spoken untruth
Mm-hmm.
in his whole life.
Right.
Different than my life. So, so basically, I remember that only because of him,
Mm-hmm.
my Gujarati is good because I was in Cambridge
Mm-hmm.
education,
Right.
and still I retained Gujarati because my father taught me Gujarati, made me read Gujarati,
Mm-hmm.
Tarzan, Bakol Patel. These were the books which he compelled me to read,
Right.
and because of them, I got the habit of reading a lot.
Right.
And in my childhood,
Right.
my compassion grew with basically grew
Mm-hmm.
with the blacks being there. And I have always felt that we have not done justice to the blacks wherever we went.
Right.
Maybe people don't like it, but yes, although we were facing apartheid
Mm-hmm.
from the Britishers, whites, still we did the same thing with the blacks.
Right.
And that pained me a lot when I was a child also, being a child of a Gandhian father.
Right.
My father used to work in the workers' colony. He went to teach them, to make them children bath,
Mm.
to make their children clean. And as a nursery teacher, he used to do all these things for them.
Uh-huh.
And they always considered him to be a god.
Mm-hmm.
In that circumstances, I always feel that so many qualities of my father,
Mm-hmm.
compassion, and then your love for the other,
Mm-hmm.
and never considering yourself to be an unequal.
Right.
These are his qualities which I have inherited. I've
Right.
never felt that I'm different from the other.
Right, sir. Sir, when have you decided, or was the joining profession of law was your always a goal or your motive?
Never. It was never a goal.
Mm-hmm.
It was never my desire.
Mm-hmm.
I was practically a student of science,
Okay.
and I applied for IIT entrance examinations also in Bombay.
Mm-hmm.
I was initially studying Khalsa College, Bombay.
Right.
I did my inter science, but because of the problem which Uganda faced for me at that time, so my father was a teacher and he was not allowed to leave Uganda.
Mm-hmm.
So there were monetary problems. And because of that monetary problem, my family thought that I should come back to Rajkot, where my home is.
Right.
And instead of science,
Mm-hmm.
I joined arts.
Right.
And I completed my arts, BA, and first part MA. And when I was doing my MA, I was doing my law also But at that point of time, the prohibited instructions came. You can't do two postgraduate courses together. And so I had to leave English and I had to continue with the law. But during that time, in 1970s, I was the youngest journalist in the country. I joined Indian Express Group newspaper, Jansata, age of 17 and a half. Because I could not be given an order. I was given an order at 18. When I became 18, I was made a news editor. And I was the youngest news editor in this country.
Right. Right, sir.
So I never wanted to be a lawyer.
Right.
See, my passion is for religion. My passion is for philosophy. My passion is for reading. My passion is literature. But my family needed me.
Right.
They needed me. They needed money because my father was growing old. And as a teacher, you know, he could not meet the two ends because my sisters were to be married. And so I joined profession.
Right.
I'm a compelled lawyer.
Right, sir. Sir, with whom have you started your practice as a junior?
Basically, it was not joining, but it was a family affair because my maternal uncle, Chimanbhai Shukla, was the founder of Jansang in Gujarat.
Right.
And he had office, was one of the best lawyers of the particular time. And so I joined him.
Right.
So we were friends from the beginning. It was not a junior-senior relationship,
Right.
but it was a friendly relation between two brothers like that. Although he was my maternal uncle, but he was very, in a sense, he told me, I tell you the real story. I was earning 650 rupees per month at that time as a news editor.
Yes.
He told me that leave your profession and join my profession. I will give you 650 rupees from the first month. But he never did it. He made me earn. And from the very first month, I shared money with him. I earned, and he told me, now we are partners. So you earn and you give, because he was a full-time worker of Jansang and BJP. So that was the relationship, and in fact, he dragged me into this picture, and we had this relationship.
Right, sir. Sir, how have you started practice, and your practice has been flourished now to a great extent? So how that journey has begun, and how you have developed that, sir?
Oh, why? Okay, we had the best seniors I can say in my life, and they have taught us everything. I don't know whether the present day juniors have the same senior set, including me. I will tell you the incident that our DGP was a very strong-headed man, and he was very hot by nature. So if you every day we used to have fight in the court, and we used to fight like anything. Tutu meme, you can say that we came to that extent. I was 35, he was 70, about 70 or something like that. And at that time, there was no age bar for DGP as such.
Right.
So when I was fighting with him in the court one day, he said, come out. I thought that he wants to fight with me and have a fist blow match. So I was prepared for that. I said, all right, I'm ready for that.
Right.
When I went outside, practically, he said, son, I will tell you one thing. Because of my hot nature, because of my this kind of headstrongness, I know how much I've lost. I know how much I've suffered. I don't want you to suffer the same. I cannot reform at the age of 71, but you still can try at the age of 35.
Right.
And I was practically in tears. I never thought that this would be a fatherly gesture from that man. And it really moved me. Equally, I tell you about one more thing.
Yes, sir.
One senior, one day I was arguing in the court. And one point, the judge said that, do you have a judgment? So I could not exactly get through. So suddenly someone put a cheat in my hand. I read the cheat. It was a judgment which I referred. Just said, who told you? Sir, I got a cheat and it is written in that. And judge said, all right, let us see. But judgments were absolutely fit for the case.
Right.
For days together, I tried to make out. Ultimately, you won't be surprised. It is the opposite lawyer who was opposing me in the case had given me the judgment.
Amazing.
And when I told him that, sir, why you were so grateful? He said, no, I was not grateful to you. As a lawyer, I am bound. When a query is made, if I know the judgment, I should give it to you. And I will find a better judgment than yours. So that's what the spirit was. And I've been taught by the seniors how to respect the juniors, how to help the juniors, how to. So one government pleader was my very close friend. You'll be surprised that the first case, independent case I had, was a case of burning the AG office. And Advocate General was a witness.
Right.
And the case against my client, that they were burning the record wherein Department of Proceeding against them were stored.
Right.
And the government pleader in the lower court was my friend. He told me that, what is the case? I said, it is that he lighted a match and then threw the stick. He said, all right, you just do it to me. It just won't go 1 feet or 6 inches because it will just be over.
Correct.
On that point, I tried the same thing in the court.
Right.
And judge was convinced. And he wrote in the judgment that I'm thankful to Mr. Bharadwaj that he has helped the cause of justice. So these were the seniors who taught me, who brought me up. I don't know whether the juniors now are so lucky or not.
Having you as a senior, I'm sure that they would have been lucky.
Definitely. But the question is, see, my whole success is success of the judges before whom I have argued or pleaded or conducted cases.
Right.
They were giants, I tell you.
Right.
But they were humans.
Right.
They were so nice that a first day lawyer when coming, I tell you an incident when first day I appeared before the judge who ultimately became a High Court judge. He was a senior judge at that time. A brief came to me. I went to the judge. Sir, this is the case and my client is this and this. He said, is it your first day? I said, sir, yes, it is my first day. He said, have you heard about WS? I said, what WS? I said, my client is here. He will tell you the truth. He said, we can't do conduct cases like this, gentlemen. You have to file a reply. This is a civil case. Then he asked one senior lawyer sitting there that help him. And the lawyer helped me in drafting the WS and documentary list. And then now you argue. And the opponent in that case tried to take benefit of my noviceness. He said, sir, if he is saying, let us argue the case. That time I remember the exact word of the judge. That, brother, you would have faced the same thing on the first day. I appreciate the courage of this boy. That the first day he has the courage to come to the court and say, sir, see my papers. So these were the judges. There is nothing wrong in telling you the name also. Justice D.P. Buch was the judge.
Right.
I have appeared before Justice S.T. Dave,
Uh-huh.
and he helped me. He helped me like anything. Justice B.K. Bhatt,
Uh-huh.
he helped me like anything. Just Vadodara Sahib, they helped me. They helped me. See, one of the senior lawyers,
Mm-hmm.
he was not able to execute a claim case.
Uh-huh.
Execution was not possible for him.
Right.
So he told me that I will give you 500 rupees
Mm-hmm.
and you plead for this man. So I
Right.
said, okay. I went to the court. Mr. Vadodara was the judge. He said, Mr. Bharadwaj, have you read so and order rule? Yes, sir, I have never read it. So tomorrow go and read and come. Sir, he executed my execution petition.
Mm-hmm.
For 30 days, every day he used to tell me to find out the things, and I used to take his advice and find the judgment.
Right.
See, these were the fine judges. H.H. Justice S.H. Mehta of the Gujarat High Court.
Yes.
He was an assistant judge.
Yes.
I fought with him
Mm-hmm.
in a 307 case. And fighting was not new to me. I was a student leader, so I thought that everything is a university. So Justice Mehta told me that, Mr. Bharadwaj, do you know that this is a serious case
Uh-huh.
of 307? And he was an assistant judge. So I said that I don't want the case to be conducted before you.
Right.
I would have it transferred.
Uh-huh.
I said, all right, I will give you time. I went to Justice S.D. Dave.
Uh-huh.
He was session judge. He said, no, there is not a better judge than Justice Mehta.
Uh-huh.
So you go and appear before him
Right.
and plead the case.
Yeah.
I was afraid. Once you fight with a judge, like anything in the court, and again 307 case, the case was over. He didn't pass the judgment for 6 months.
Right.
And after 6 months, he gave me benefit of doubt.
Uh-huh.
I was stunned.
Right.
I told him that, Judge sir, if you wanted to acquit him,
Uh-huh.
why did you not do it earlier?
Yeah.
Why you had a sword on our head? He said,
Yeah.
Bharadwaj, he spoke in Gujarati in a sense,
Uh-huh.
કે જ્યારે હું જજમેન્ટ લખવા બેસતો ને
Uh-huh.
તે તારું મોઢું મને દેખાતું હતું. જ્યારે તારું મોઢું દેખાતું બંધ થયું ને ત્યારે મેં જજમેન્ટ લખવાનું શરૂ કર્યું. See, these are the judges who taught me. Who say, who are your mentor? They are my mentor. They are my ideals. One of the best and the finest judges of Gujarat High Court were my mentors and my idols. I respect them like anything. I respect Justice Sikar Thakur like anything. The finest human beings.
Very true.
I was just discussing this thing with Justice Sikar Thakur one day. He's doing arbitration work.
Yes.
He doesn't go by business class.
True.
He goes by economic class.
Very true.
And he doesn't like a 7-star hotel. See, these are the judges, you have to respect them. And they are your mentors. When you look at them, if you say, I remember one incident.
Yes, sir.
When I was the president of Rajkot Bar,
Mm-hmm.
we had a national legal clinic.
Mm-hmm.
Chief Justice Ranganathan,
Mm.
no, Ranganathan Mishra, something like that.
Yes.
Justice Mishra
Yes.
from Bihar,
Yes.
R.N. Mishra or something, yes.
Yes. Yes.
He was the Chief Justice and he was to come. So I and our session judge, we went to the airport to receive him.
Mm-hmm.
My session judge was continuously trying to take his bag.
Mm-hmm.
I was equally trying to take his bag.
Right.
He said no. Then when we went to the circuit house, I and the session judge were sitting.
Hmm.
So I said, you are not allowing us to lift your bag. He said, the whole country is on my shoulders. I don't need anyone to help to carry my bag. I carry the weight of the whole country.
Very true.
And really, you were a bit surprised. Then the reason which he gave me,
Mm-hmm.
after our session judge left, he said, इसमें मेरी पूजा है.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want anyone to touch it.
Right.
I had seen him doing puja. In early morning, he called me
Mm-hmm.
to help him to bring water and all that.
Right.
So these were the chief justices who taught you something.
Very true.
He never brought religion in his judgments.
Correct.
But he was total religious. I have seen him with my own eyes.
Correct.
Performing puja at 5 o'clock in the morning. Can you imagine a chief justice in dhoti and with janoi? But his judgments have never been affected by his Brahminic culture or his by Brahminic thought.
Very right.
So these are the mentors, or these are the people whom you can just look at them.
Correct.
And they've, unfortunately, I don't know whether the younger generation has benefit of these people or not. I tell you one thing.
Yes, sir.
Dinu Boka Solanki was MP of Kodinar,
Yes.
who is convicted in this case in Gujarat,
Yes.
the High Court murder case,
Yes.
if you remember.
Amit Jethwa.
Huh.
Right.
So in that case, at that time he was laying a pipeline from his farm to his house.
Hmm.
And during that time, Tada had come into implementation.
Right.
Section 5 of Tada, Arms Act and ammunition and all that.
Right.
So police charged him with Tada,
Mm-hmm.
Section 5.
Right.
Judge issued a warrant. So there was only Supreme Court at that time for Tada cases.
Correct.
So we engaged Ram Jethmalani
Right.
through Purnima Sethi, who was a minister of Delhi during BJP regime,
Right.
and she was a lawyer of High Court. She has now she has died now,
Right.
but she was like a sister to me. And
Right.
through her, we went to Rani Jethmalani
Hmm.
and we engaged Ram Jethmalani.
Right.
So he said that, son, it is Sunday. Who will drop the petition?
Hmm.
I said, I will write, sir. And in the Supreme Court record, my written petition in the case of Dinu Boka Solanki versus Union of India,
Hmm.
it is there. And he was so nice to me. We went to the Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, have you taken meals? I said, I was just looking. He said, I can understand.
Hmm.
Come down.
Hmm.
He took us for meals. So these were the people, I think they were gem of humans. Then you can say that stuff of a lawyer, sir.
Right. Very true, sir. Very true. And it was so inspiring to hear all about them, sir. Thank you so very much for that. Sir, my next question is, sir, what changes you propose to be made in the current legal education system? Since you are a teacher as well.
Basically, the whole system has to change.
Right.
As a member of the Law Commission, I was a member of the 21st Law Commission of India. And I was the first lawyer in the history of Law Commission from the Mofizil Court. See, the Mofizil word is being used, Dehati Vakil.
Yes.
So I was a Dehati Vakil in the Law Commission. And it was very surprising for the Supreme Court judge who was presiding as the chairman of 21st Law Commission,
Right.
who was known for driving out lawyers from the courts, Justice Chauhan. He was my chairman.
Right.
And Justice Ravi Tripathi was a permanent member.
Very true.
So you can imagine my situation.
Right.
So in that Law Commission, I failed to convince them
Mm-hmm.
that the whole legal system in India has to change.
Right.
I have gone through the Western Australian Law Reform Commission's report.
Mm-hmm.
I advise everybody who wants law reform to understand it.
Right.
They also inherited the adversarial system like us.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, we have a adversarial legal system that you win by default.
Right.
Because the prosecution cannot prove, although we feel that you have done it, although we are convinced that you might have done it,
Right.
still must is not there. So
Mm-hmm.
we acquit you.
Right.
Same way, in a civil case, as the plaintiff is not in a position to prove,
Burden is
the defendant wins.
right.
So that is not a fit system for us. We had inherited a very profound judicial system
Mm-hmm.
in Vedas and Upanishad. That was equity.
Right.
I came across a judgment of Supreme Court
Mm-hmm.
where it said equity should prevail over the procedures.
Mm-hmm.
That is the right approach. Samnyay, we call justice to all, not to one. Here, one man cries, he doesn't get justice. You are not asking the defense to open its case. You are asking prosecution to open its case.
Right.
You are asking accused to remain silent,
Right.
not to put his defense. And he wins because the prosecution cannot prove that to the tilt.
Mm-hmm.
That is causing a lot of problems, sir. That is causing violence.
Mm-hmm.
The violence comes from this, that when a man has seen someone being killed, when a person knows he is the perpetrator of the crime, and because the case could not be proved, naturally there will be violence. And if you don't want to drive this country to the system, you must go for equity.
Right.
And there, the criminal cases can be very easily decided.
Mm-hmm.
The sections in IPC are not for judges to decide, even for police to implement.
Right.
If you have a conference,
Mm-hmm.
pre-charge conference, wherein the accused comes, his lawyer comes, the prosecution comes, the victim comes, his lawyer comes, a judge is sitting there, and then he reads the paper and tells that, sir, this is a maximum case of 325. Would you be satisfied by the compensation? He can tell the accused that you should pay 10 lakh rupees to this man. Are you prepared? Then I will give you suspended sentence of 3 years.
Right.
That can finish off the cases in most of the cases. Because most of the murders here are falling within the lines between, you can say that 304, 342.
Correct.
So that can be decided at the initial stage.
Right.
If even punishment can be decided, he said that if you go for the trial, I may hang you. If you accept, I may send you for 5 years
Right.
and compensate this man. And he can tell the complainant also that these are the difficulties in your case. If you are not able to prove, you will be acquitted. Then he will be another Ravan. Would you want the Ravan to be created? This is what my solution is. But then judges will have to be courageous. Lawyers have to be compassionate. But this is the system. Even in civil, you can do this. This is where the issues are framed. Both the lawyers can be called. Judge can tell that these are your drawbacks. Both have these drawbacks. Do you agree? Do you settle with this? The cases can be over. I'll tell you one incident
Yes, sir.
that happened really.
Yes, sir.
In one court in Andhra Pradesh,
Mm-hmm.
convicted a man. The conviction was sustained by the Sessions Court. It was sustained by the High Court. Matter went to the Supreme Court. There was an amicus curiae. He dug up the case laws. He dug up the law, and on the first day of the hearing, he said, "Sir, an innocent has been harassed like anything." He said, "Why?" "Sir, the law for he was convicted was repealed in 1951. Can you imagine this jungle of law?"
Right.
So this is the system we inherited. We don't know how many laws have been repealed.
Right.
We don't know how many laws have been changed. We are going with Criminal Law Amendment Act 1932. So this has to change.
Right.
We are a free country. We are not to be ruled. We are to be served.
Right.
That concept has to change even in law.
Right.
Have you seen police stations?
Yes.
The Britishers created police stations where there was no light,
Right.
where there was no air, because they wanted a police force which was inhuman. Only an inhuman police force can keep a country slave.
Right.
That is what they did. Even today, we have black Americans or black Englishmen here. That has to change.
True. True, sir. Sir, whom do you consider to be your mentor or idol in the legal profession?
I told you that there were many seniors, not one, and the judges. I owe to both of them.
Right.
To all senior judges, I have named them. All colleagues or lawyers were senior to me and who helped me in creating what I am. See, I remember one incident. In the initial stage, one of my friends was having a case of Lagutam Vetan Dhara.
Right.
Very interesting case.
Yes.
Gomasta Dhara case was there. He said that I want you to fight. But I said that, what's in it? I went to the court, judge said that 350 rupees, fine. Why want to fight this case? I said, this gentleman wants it. He taught me how to fight. I would have never fought in the court.
Right.
But this friend of mine, who compelled me to fight a case on the Minimum Wages Act, he is my guru. He taught me how to fight.
Right.
Equally, one of my college mates,
Mm-hmm.
he was a conductor,
Mm-hmm.
and he gave one slap to the ST depot manager.
Right.
And I don't want to compromise. I said, you will be punished.
Mm.
He said, there is nothing wrong. You fight it out. Why you worry? So these are the people who taught me how to fight, how never to let it go. He said, I will go in jail. Why you worry?
True.
So these people, your clients are your influential.
Right.
And sometimes you feel that they give you the strength to what you are. They take you to this ladder. So I owe you to everybody.
Sir, what changes have you proposed for the amendment in Indian Penal Code CRPC and evidence while you were law commission member? You require.
I feel that I feel very much that a free country has to change its laws. But IPC doesn't need that much reform, in a sense. You can just add sections around all that, as you have done in 306, 498A. But I feel that you should have a separate domestic law. and independent domestic law,
Right.
and independent foreign act, and independent agriculture act.
Right.
So because your farmers are cheated of the seeds, cheated of so many things, so they need a law to protect them. Consumer Protection Act is not for them.
Very true.
They have to be protected by a criminal law.
Right.
Unfortunately, in this country, unless someone sees police, he doesn't want to act according to law. And that is a misfortune. We have not been able to change the mindset.
Right.
Suppose you take one incident.
Mhm.
Go to any FIR of domestic violence. How many accused are women? Mother-in-law, sister-in-law,
Everyone. Related.
another sister-in-law. So 5 women against 1 woman. Who has to change?
Right.
It's our mindset which has to change. Law cannot change it. Can you change a mother-in-law by law? Can you change a sister-in-law by law? No. And always husband is bichara. In so many complaints, 498A, they write down that my husband is a very nice man, but he's not able to protect me. So by changing laws, things won't change. First of all, we have to change our mindset. We have different problems. We have different systemic failures. For that, we have to change the things. Suppose Narendra Modi has made a law that you should not spit. Somebody in Western country would laugh at it. But you have to make it. For toilet, he has to make a law.
Very true.
Imagine the situation in this country. You have to be compelled to do something which is for your hygiene, you have to do it.
Very true.
So unless and until we change our mindset,
Right.
and the lesser the laws, better the system.
Right.
And CRPC also, IPC also, Evidence Act also is heavily burdened in favor of accused. That has to change. And that is why I say the law considering equity, that both are given justice, not one. That we have to make changes. We have to sit down and we have to talk about it. Even if you make any law for the benefit of people, they are not ready. They start shouting at you. You make 498A, then the whole husband family says that this is torturous act. And women use it also. Atrocity Act, sometimes misuse. The laws are not bad, but the user are bad. So unless you change this mindset, you can't do it. I remember Supreme Court had to pass an order saying anticipatory bail provision was made to protect the have-nots.
Hmm.
Instead of that, the haves are beating have-nots and filing complaint against them.
Right.
And have-nots have to come to the court to get protection of the anticipatory bail provision. See, Supreme Court said that this has become a refuge of the scoundrels. Somebody getting and a Security Act warrant stayed in Andaman Nicobar, 500 of them, showing that they are residing there. So law practically is never, but the implementation has to change. Yes, sir.
Sir, what do you suggest to the students who have just entered the law colleges? how should they prepare themselves during their education time to face the upcoming profession?
Mr. Malkan, to be very honest, you can't change the system now.
Right.
I don't know, but in all the national law university, all the legal profession, and in all law education system, I have come across professors who are not only anti-national, but who who disregard this country, and they regard this country not as a nation, but as a federation of nations. So unless and until this whole system, student cannot change. Who teaches them?
Right.
Who is their ideal?
Right.
So you have to control this system. I remember in 1961 around, Kumar Mangalam, he was a communist.
Yes.
He gave two theories. One, infiltrate Congress, because we cannot come to power in this country which is always afraid of God. Communists cannot succeed. Second, he said, infiltrate legal system, become professors, become law faculty, join judiciary. At that time, judiciary was the least paid. But he gave them a mission, join judiciary, become judges. And he said, one day, the courts are going to rule the country, not the parliament. And at that time, if we are in majority, we can rule the country. This is what we are facing. See, liberalism is a different thing. A judge can be liberal, but can he be against the ethos of this country? Can he be, see, a Harvard educated judge? What business he is in Supreme Court of India? You are bringing alumni from the foreign countries, maybe of Indian origin, but they have different concept of law. They have different concept of thinking. You can't run the country from the courtrooms. You have to allow parliament its function. You can't do these things. These are the judges, what they are doing in America, in England. So when we have judges who are coming from that strata, I prefer a judge. I think Justice Balakrishnan was from the judicial magistrate first class. He became a Supreme Court judge. Justice Malimath, he made an act, and Justice Balakrishnan was critical of it, the amendments. He said that, think about the Mastur. You want confessional statement from them? Your police is going to take confessional statements. So that is what basically things are. So unless we have judges from lower to the higher strata who live in the spirit of this country, the same with the legal system or the legal colleges or universities.
Right.
And English is not a problem. I also talk in English.
Yes.
But it should not be the only criteria. You don't run courts in your mother tongue. The most effective way of conveying oneself.
Right. Still, sir, my question was that what advice you give to the student to work upon to have a progressive...
All right. If you want the particular advice, it is this, that you are the best. Consider yourself as the best.
Right.
and read the books. The student of Constitution, they should not only read the Constitution, but they should read the constitutional debates. Unless and until you read the constitutional debates of the Constituent Assembly, you don't know who Ambedkar was. You can't understand Ambedkar. You won't know that he was a visionary.
Right.
You won't be knowing that he desired Article 44 to be implemented at that particular point of time, a new civil code. He was the father of it.
Right.
If you go to the debates, then you can constitution. Same way, with this present law system, try to understand your old system also, Vedanta Upanishad, Gautam Nyaya Shastra, other Nyaya Shastra, Jain Nyaya Shastra. There are only 7 slok in Jain Evidence Act. If a judge reads them, makes them implementable, then judgment from the lower court to the Supreme Court would be same.
Right.
So I ask the students that don't go by the English system. Read everything of your own also. And how can you understand the legal system by that? But you feel that you are a student and you have to remain a student, and because a lawyer can never cease to be a student. So that is what my advice is.
Sir, you had drafted Uniform Civil Code when you were law member. What would it not be affecting the personal law directly if Uniform Civil Code would be implemented?
Mr. Malkan, tell me, why was it incorporated in Article 44?
Right.
At that point of time, the Muslim League opposed it, and Hindu Mahasabha opposed it. Both the extreme thoughts opposed it. And Ambedkar was firmly of the view that Uniform Civil Code is the only solution of this country.
Right.
And he had a reason for that. See, if Uniform Civil Code had been implemented, then the distance between have-nots and have would have been over.
Right.
The untouchability itself would have been over.
Right.
All these issues which you are raising today or being raised today have been overbite. See, it is not a question of implementing it forcibly.
Very true.
There may be debate. There may be a format. But one day Uniform Civil Code has to come. There is no way out. It doesn't affect your marriage system. Try to understand one more thing.
Yes.
Uniform Civil Code accepts your personal belief also.
Right.
But we have to have a national registration of marriage.
Correct.
You can get married in your own rituals, but still the marriage law will be a universal law. You will be guarded by that particular law.
Right.
So you can't divorce your wife as easy as you think. And
Right.
you know one more thing.
Yes, sir.
Then in the Christian Marriage Act, unless the bishop permits,
Yes.
the divorce cannot be taken.
Very true.
So everyone needs to be reformed.
Right.
Everyone has to change.
Right, sir.
And one has to accept. So it is not against your personal law, but it is a codified law so far as marriage or rituals are concerned, because you have to go through registration of it. National registration means you will be governed by whenever divorces will be taken, You can marry in your own manner, but you can't get divorced at your whim or wish. Then you will be guarded by national policy. Same way, inheritance. Why the daughter should be divested of it? So uniform, you have your own system, you go by this system.
Right. Sir, what do you teach to junior advocates? What should be the basic principles they follow while preparing a matter?
Mr. Malkan, your client wants you to win.
True.
He doesn't want to lose.
Very true. Very true.
And to win, what you have to do? It's difficult. You know that the case is faulty.
Right.
You know that the case may not succeed. But if you tell him, being a conscious lawyer, will he cease his endeavor? You go to another lawyer.
Very true.
So, and secondly, never judge your own case.
Right.
Give it a try. Make an attempt.
Right.
You may win through. But question is, nowadays, preparing briefs or preparing notes, I tell you one incident.
Yes, sir.
During our old days,
Yes, sir.
in Junagadh, there was a Nawab state.
Right.
And Nawab had his cousins as judges, as his brother as judges. They are Supreme Court judges
Right.
of Junagadh.
Right.
So Firoz Shah, Sir Firoz Shah,
Hmm.
considered to be a very eminent lawyer, was fighting a case and he, with a private wreck, at that time, private train was there.
Mhm.
He came to fight the case in Junagadh court with the books from authority from Rangoon to Lahore. He
Right.
kept the books before the Nawab. And then he told him, sir, this is the case and this is so happening and all that and all that. There was one lawyer named as Kothara, you know, this wreck. So he was called as wreck lawyer.
Right.
He would come with that, he would put his Kothara there. So after the arguments of Mr. Firoz Shah, he rose.
Hmm.
He said, sir, my poor client, the sky above and land below.
Right.
This is Junagadh. What Rangoon will matter to us? What Lahore will matter to us? It is your lordship, the Nawab, who has to decide the law. He is trying to impress you that this, are you less learned than them? They are more learned. You won't be surprised what the result was. So today, you have to go before the judges who consider themselves to be God.
Right.
And if you challenge them,
Right.
you'll be finished.
Right.
So there is your satisfaction is not important.
Right.
They are not ready to accept your views.
True.
Even if they know they are wrong, even if they change their own views after 2 months, but still at that point of time they will say that you are not right.
Right, sir.
So you have to go before judges. One, I remember Ram Jethmalani was
Yes.
arguing before the Supreme Court.
Yes.
He said, sir, my poor litigant.
Mm-hmm.
The judge said, Mr. Jethmalani, Was he poor from the beginning or after engaging you? See, this is the system which we are coming through. What can you advise your younger generation?
Right.
Have we set an ideal? We have threatened witnesses. We have seen that we win the case.
Right.
We have done so many things at so many point of time.
Right.
Maybe I have not done anything, but I have not stopped others from doing it also.
Right.
To keep the blame away from me. I don't know anything which can be called corrupt,
Right.
but allow others to do it. We are mentally corrupt.
Right.
And in that sense, you have to think over. Someone told me
Yes, sir.
that, sir, prostitutes give their body so to satisfy your lust
Yes.
for money. You give your brains. See, that was what people think about us.
True.
We have come to that level.
Very true.
And the problem is, the higher the judge, the more efficient is not the lawyer who is efficient, but who is political weighty, who can make you from a High Court judge to a Supreme Court judge, who can make you a Supreme Court judge when you retire, and can give you post-retirement engagement. First time, it was Justice Mishra who stopped this seniority business. And after that, Justice Gogoi stopped the listing as if whenever you can go and appear before the court. I think so I'm right in that perspective. They were the first judges. They started listening advocate on record.
Right.
Not necessary for us to see this.
Right.
So they are the two judges who encourage the advocates on record.
Very true.
So the system has to change from the upper echelon, not the lower echelon. If a Supreme Court Chief Justice asked AOR to appear
Right.
and pass an order, then naturally all judges will start doing that.
Very true.
Then these seniority things will go away.
Right.
Council system will go away.
Right.
The privilege system will go away. Anyone can go and tell the Supreme Court that, listen to me. And if someone is listening, who said that why this man was listened, and you go to the same court next day, asking that relief may be granted to me.
Right.
Yesterday you were barging at the Supreme Court judges that you are out of turn giving in this lockout someone a privilege. And next day you yourself go to the Supreme Court. I must be protected from Gujarat police. See, what fun of it? So we are not honest. We have to be honest. If we are really honest, then only we should speak about all these things.
Right. Sir, this is tough time in the profession. This lockdown period is very tough time for the profession. What advice would you like to give to the advocates to remain positive during this lockdown period?
See, I tell you my example.
Yes.
I am reading Constitution.
Right.
To understand it, I came across 51A, fundamental duties.
Right.
I understood that all the problems of India or Bharat can be solved by 51A.
Right.
Maybe product of emergency.
True.
But 51A is the soul of Constitution now. So I have started reading it, understanding the Constitution. I am again reading CRPC. I am every Sunday talking live in Gujarati with lawyers of Gujarat how my experience is.
Right.
So you can do something, whatever you like.
Right.
The younger generation nowadays doesn't want to read. So even if I advise them, they are not going to eat it.
They will definitely implement, sir. I'm sure they will implement your
No,
advice.
the question is very simple.
Yes.
That no one can master the law.
Yes.
Go on reading your case papers in a criminal case or in a civil case. Make it a habit of reading it again. The charge sheet. This is the time when you open your files, read your old cases which are pending, and you will get some insight or some new point.
Very true.
You can do that.
I hope that this advice will be taken by the young advocates. I'm sure on that. Sir, what changes do you foresee after this lockdown period in the profession? Any changes that may happen automatically after this lockdown?
See, lockdown has taught us one thing. The strongest survive.
Yes, Darwin principle.
And the strongest need not be the richest.
True.
The strongest must not be the wealthiest.
True.
The strongness comes from my inner self.
Right.
And so this lockdown will bring the inner qualities of a lawyer.
Right.
There will be more human.
Right.
There will be more understanding towards their client.
Very true.
There will be more, even the judges will be more sympathetic to the lawyers. There will be a change of attitude. The aggressiveness may go. And it will be replaced by understanding of each other.
Right.
And as in this lockdown, the seniors are helping everywhere.
Yes.
They are trying to help the juniors. Even in Gujarat, they are looking after the brothers in a manner that they don't feel ashamed or they don't feel.
Yes.
You can understand it.
Yes.
Keeping their Atma Gaurav as it is. So many lawyers, so many institutions are helping the lawyers to keep them alive. And that will bring more brotherhood.
Right.
Because now a senior and a junior have come to par.
Yes.
They will be starting afresh.
Right.
So there will be more compassionate towards each other, more respecting each other. That's what I feel.
Thank you very much, Bhardwaj sir, for your time that you have given to me. And it was great learning from you, sir. Thank you very much.
See, no one learns from anyone. It is your inner self which teaches you.
True.
I've just learned it the hard way. So always think yourself as your ideal or your mentor.
Right.
You have to be your own mentor. But you are a leader.
Right.
And you should know where to lead yourself. No one can lead you anywhere.
Right.
So inner understanding is very important. And what you say in lockdown, the lawyers know themselves better.
Right.
That is a helping hand.
Right, sir.
They know the wounds of their wives.
Yes.
They know the wounds of their children.
Yes.
And all lawyers have become family men.
Right.
That is a great achievement.
Very true, sir. Very true. I will keep this in mind, sir, for life, sir. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.